Beating a dead horse with WAP Tech. Here we go. Talking to you from the dog pound. I'm in a metal box here. 2017, November 21st. U.S. Journal Net trending topics repost of Neon Nettle's story of the day before. Las Vegas mass shooting video proves Saudi Arabian hitmen fired people, and shows yet again the same video that doesn't show anything of the kind. It shows people trying to get out of the venue by crawling over fences, and also who are walking on something that, if you look at it on Street View, is a place where people could sit. It was bleachers. They were the last people who had ducked and covered, who were in an exposed area on the bleachers. They weren't on the rooftops or anything. They're not rooftop ninjas and snipers. This will keep being brought up because Vegas is over. For those of you who aren't aware of it, for the last, ever since October 1st, 2017, people have been scrutinizing every little characteristic about it for one of a few motivations. First motivation for most people is, what the hell happened and why? The why will never be available because Paddock took that to the grave. Let's just stop right now and just assume that. We can all theorize. The best guess is that he simply wanted to be an infamous shooter and die. Maybe, and my opinion is, his life got so boring because it was so predictable, he just decided to end it all. And I'm going to say something that sounds like I'm defending Paddock. That is a waste of a perfectly functional, average, boring American. And that's probably why he did it. He was literally the epitome of the everyman and the gray man. And that last part is the reason we won't know anything. His existence was private to him. This is probably the only public thing he ever did. You can disagree with me on that because we don't have enough data to know anything about any of this. And we never will at this rate. But anyway, web archives show that U.S. Journal and Neon Nettle, or whatever, went out of their way about a month and some change later to take a video that someone made and make it into proof of something that is not true. Saudi Arabian princes were not involved. They weren't there. Saudi Arabian princes do not own X number of floors of the building. They're one of X number of owners that has stock in the business that owns it. At best, they would own 1/10 of 1% of the building, or something like that. There's many ways you can look at this. Deciding it was hitmen hired to do it is an escape hatch activity by a completely different group of people whose immediate reactions and conversations are brought up. People who exploit tragedy to get page views. This does include mainstream media and alt media. Alt media is built off exactly the same business model, and it is a business, as mainstream media. That's all. That group of people exploit the deaths of hundreds of people or whatever they have to get views, to make money, or to gain social and political power as influencers, and a small subset of that, a very small subset, use it as propaganda for political gain, maybe in another country. If I want to make people stop coming to Portland and turning it to San Francisco, where it's $5,000 a month to rent a postage stamp apartment and you can be kicked out at any moment because you're not obedient enough, or whatever, I will tell everybody propagandistically that the city of Portland literally stinks of fecal material because our sewer systems overrun the roads. That's technically true, but that's not really what's going on. We have one of the best flood control systems I've ever seen. It's amazing. So anyway, to get to the point, the Las Vegas mass shooting happened. It happened effectively exactly the way we were told by the powers that be, or whatever group you want to call it, so that you can try to strawman this. Saying otherwise doesn't change it. Saudi Arabian hitmen aren't involved. Paddock was not hired to do this by the CIA. None of these things have actually shown any value because, number one, the group of people reaching at straws like this dropped it after they found out they were simply wrong. This is a reasonable thing to do. Number two, a certain group of people, no matter how reasonable you are with them, will never listen to you and keep reposting this. Someone reposted this to one of my channels. Doesn't matter which one. I can put this video on any of them, because this is like the umpteenth time it's happened. It's the current year. It's 2019. And we're going to be approaching the X number of years since it happened meme. How long ago did you look up anything about the John F. Kennedy shooting? How long? Have you been able to resist looking up, quote unquote, the latest news on something that was pretty much over and done a long time ago, to the point that if there is any evidence, it'll be somebody either faking that evidence or somebody on their deathbed giving a confession, but we find out they were nowhere near any of it and had nothing to do with the investigation. Oh, but conspiracies can involve anybody, even if they're not related. I'm going to spend today busting my own chops on my computer to see if my GIF editor, image editor, and video editor that I'm playing with work, so that I can tear apart the Zapruder film of Bigfoot. Yeah, the re-edit done by Mr. Davis of an image that's a recording that's supposed to be a Bigfoot. My biggest challenge isn't looking up how the suit was made and figuring out how it was done. My biggest challenge is getting my computer to cease and desist sabotaging at least one frame out of the 171 that I'm going to bother with. That's my goal for the day. My goal isn't to go back and debunk yet another conspiracy theorist trying to go viral for market research purposes and views. That insert's actually got to do with something I had to click on today. It's approaching JFK levels of memedom, which means only people who are hardcore interested in it will be discussing it after a while. They will create very small communities. They will lay in wait for the next opportunity to shoehorn it into something else. Remember that warning everybody got that this was going to happen that was so totally clear? Well, I did a video on the person who did it. They never posted it again. They only posted about that subject. They posted on September 11th, 2017, or before it, warning of another September 11th. And someone twisted it, Neon Nettle and all the others, into saying that they were forewarned. All that would mean is that Paddock got on 4chan and posted some shit. And posted random shit. And was wrong, because the date, time, and location were all wrong. Yeah. No, it's not the sign that the CIA did it. It's more a sign of Q doing it. And some of you who watch my channel know why I make jokes about Q. I should copyright that shit from now on. But anyway. No, there weren't any frogmen. There were no gunship helicopters. Yes, that is the assertion of somebody who deleted all his videos so he could hide the fact that that was his entire point of having his YouTube channel. With his rather high quality video production values suspiciously inserted, and suspiciously when he did that, also so did an archive that held some of my videos and everybody else's on the subject, pro and con, suspiciously. Oh, and another person who set up an entire website trying to be the next YouTube, but making sure it insults anybody who isn't right-wing, that I outed for owning it and trying to hide it. Over and done. Why? Because he's a one-hit wonder. What about Defamer? I mean Defango. You can see videos of him. Type in Defango and Laptech and watch him diss track me, where he takes things out of context and acts like he's not doing it because he's trying to create drama. These are the things that feed, yes, drama and rumors and chit-chat. That's what feeds the market that you're dealing with here. Doing that about Las Vegas is wrong. We don't need to have weekly Las Vegas talks. It's pretty much over and done with. The only updates are going to be lawsuits and such, and whether or not somebody decides to, in my opinion, misuse some legal maneuver to avoid having to pay out large amounts and trying not to look like a jerk in the process as a corporation. That's about all there is to it. I mean, there isn't anything else to it. Nobody in the alt media or conspiracy theory camp has actually brought forward any actual evidence that you would tolerate being used against you in a court of law. And that is the point I'm making here. You can't prove something, so you bullshit. Meanwhile, I hate saying it about the police department in the area, but they did actually provide proof that, no, the person who did it did himself in, and they were able to find all that data. We are at that point. So, essentially this is a dead subject. If somebody has new information, post it. But from now on, I'm going to just address it in a group video where I take all of your postings about it and add them together if you like. And then I'll respond to that. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that, but it's case closed now. So now the only people around will be just like the fringe that keeps bringing up 9/11 and whatever by always repeating things that have already been dealt with.